Yes, yes. Peace and black power, black family. It's your brother Chase back at you again with another reactionary video. And check it out, man. As you can see by the title, I'm sure all of you have heard the news over the last couple of days. Charlie Kirk, y'all boy Charlie Kirk. Uh, you know, Charlie got stepped on. Charlie got stepped on. He got grounded up. He got rolled up, and then he got smoked. And a lot of people, due to him getting smoked, especially in the white community, have been wagging their finger. They've been, very angry, very upset, especially at the black community, for a lot of people's reactions. Okay. A lot of people's reactions. A lot of people have been calling out Charlie Kirk's racism and the hate he has spewed over the last few years. And a lot of people have been holding Charlie and his followers accountable. Okay. And what I want to do is give my 2 cents. I want to give my 2 cents on the situation. A lot of you have been commenting on the page. You hope I talk about the Charlie Kirk situation. So that's what we're going to do today. But first, this is a reactionary channel, and I thought it would be perfect to react to some of Charlie Kirk's greatest quotes, some of his greatest hits. What did the man, the myth, the quote unquote legend, according to some white people, talk about? So we're going to react to that right now. And then after that, I'm going to give you 4 takeaways, 4 things I want Black Americans to take away from the Charlie Kirk situation so you can learn, you can grow. But lastly, let me say this before we get into the video. I'm a man who believes in standing on morals and principles, in leading and showing respect, especially for the dead. So I will say, rest in peace or rest in power to the great ancestor Frankie Beverly, who actually passed away on September 10th, 2024, and September 10th, 2025, a few days ago, marked the 1-year anniversary of his death. We appreciate you, ancestor. We thank you, ancestor, for all your contributions, the musical classics that you gave us, the countless amount of good times that we enjoyed dancing to your music. And I couldn't help but to think, on September 10th, 2025, with all the events that were going on, I couldn't help but think, but happy feelings in the air, touching people everywhere. Let's get into the video, family. Now, this is roughly 5 minutes of Charlie Kirk doing what Charlie Kirk did, okay, which is, talk from his vantage point. This is the ideology he was spreading. This is where he was coming from. I'm not going to pause it or react. I just want you to sit through the 5 minutes to get some context on who Charlie Kirk was. All right, here we go. Brace yourself, family.
Sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily. No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. Charlie Kirk. And the Civil Rights Act, though, let's be clear, created a beast, and that beast has now turned into an anti-white weapon. This topic would have been even more forbidden 4 or 5 years ago, but it's now becoming in more and more mainstream circles. Is that because the problem is becoming worse, or but our side is more courageous to confront it? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. The present reality, not the ideal, the reality of the Civil Rights Act and how it's being used is making it harder for us to pursue excellence as a society. Here's a fact. Since the Civil Rights Act passed, I think that it's fair to say any sort of racist sentiments that are in America have gone, at least individually amongst white people, towards black people have gone away. What I'm trying to counter is the reason we talk about race so much is because we have a federal holiday to a guy that talked about race all the time.
And by the way, he was talking about Dr. King. He's called Dr. King an awful man. That's been documented. Okay, so just wanted to add context to that clip. Let's continue.
saw a clip somewhere that you were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
But he had his knee on his neck. And we all saw the video.
But the knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique that police departments taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying, "I couldn't breathe," well before that restraining technique? And
so why'd they use the technique if he already couldn't breathe?
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him, and they restrained him in a way that they were taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the like technique end? Like when they die? Like he said he couldn't breathe.
No, I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His cause of death was not asphyxiation; it was drug overdose. He had
that was a part of it. Like he also had a heart like thing, and like he was on drugs, but like he wouldn't have just died if he was standing there. Like they had his.
Well,
their
actually,
knee on
there's an
neck.
argument to be made. According to the medical examiner, he was drug overdosing in real time. That it wasn't because of the police officer Derek Chauvin that put his knee on the neck. And again, they were taught to do that. According to the Hennepin County Police Department, they teach that as an approved restraint technique. And by the way, this is just a broader point. Our whole country blew up because of this incident, and it was largely based on a lie. Largely based on a lie. We were all.
What was the lie?
The lie is that there was a white police officer that went after a black person just because he was black, and it just wasn't true. He was resisting arrest.
Okay, but he killed him. Like that doesn't.
Well, again, the county medical examiner disagrees. The county medical examiner in the original report.
So then why was he? Why did he get sentenced?
Exactly.
Like,
that's a good
no,
question.
I'm saying.
It's because it was largely a show trial where actually they were not allowed to submit
A what
evidence.
trial?
A show trial. A show trial is an example where you put people on display or a show for a political purpose or political means. And this is an example of that, where Derek Chauvin was not given a fair hearing in this trial. He was not even allowed to use the police training handbook in his trial to show that he was taught to use that restraining technique.
Okay, so what do you want to happen to Derek Chauvin? Like,
pardon.
So he's just free? What is that?
Yes.
What message does that send to like?
It should be. It's a message.
And listen to his followers cheering in the background. These are the people telling us to have empathy for Charlie getting murked. Okay.
That you should get an actual fair trial, and that you're not going to get a trial by media. Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
All right, family. All right. We'll stop it right there, family. That's y'all boy, Charlie Kirk. Okay, this is the person that white people are running around here wagging their finger. And not just white people. You have some, of course, you have the Sambo class who they're trying to get white brownie points. They're running around here wagging their finger, telling us we need to have empathy despite what Charlie said about our community and despite the hatred that he spreaded, despite him dehumanizing Black Americans every time he got a chance. We need to show empathy to Charlie because Charlie just had a difference of political opinion. And I'm here to tell you, family, you don't have to do that. In fact, us speaking the truth about Charlie Kirk and what he stood for is actually honoring in a true representation of his legacy, according to his followers. Okay? Charlie Kirk always attacked the dead. Charlie Kirk always, for years, even up until this year, he was still calling people like George Floyd a scumbag, etc. He going out his way. Those clips that I showed you, many of those clips are from this year. He's talking about pardon Derek Chauvin. Okay? He went out his way to, again, demonize, troll, gaslight, and dehumanize Black Americans every chance he got. Hell, family, Charlie Kirk's last words before he was shot was this.
In America. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Damn. Let me run it back in case you missed it. The guy asked him, do you know how many mass shooters there's been in America over the last few years? And Charlie, of course, in typical Charlie response, said, counting or not counting gang violence, AKA, let me tell you about Charlie. He used gang violence as a euphemism to represent black people. So whenever people would talk about mass shootings that are historically carried out by white people, he would just talk about, he would flip it to gang violence. He would flip it to Chicago. It's Negroes, it's Little Dirk. It's the Little Dirks of the world. It's 100 Little Dirks running around. They're the real mass shooters. Okay, let's listen to him say it again.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Hey. And as soon as he was getting ready to go and blame it on black people, his white brethren pinned something hot on him. Okay? You dig? So Charlie Kirk was always antagonizing and gaslighting black American people, family. But more importantly, family, what can we learn from the Charlie Kirk situation? Let's do a deep analysis. Let's do a breakdown. Let's talk about 4 things that I want foundational black Americans to take away from the Charlie Kirk situation. Number 1 is this. Always remember, being we are a people of nature, we are people of the universe, that you reap what you sow. Let me say it again. You reap what you sow. Charlie Kirk made a career out of gaslighting, demonizing, and dehumanizing black American people. He justified that you can't find a black victim that Charlie Kirk took up for who was killed, unarmed victim who was killed by the cops. You can't find that, family. He went out his way to not only demonize our culture, our traditions, our ways of life, but especially went out his way to justify us being murdered and killed. He always was an apologist for the perpetrators carrying out these actions. And the thing about you reap what you sow is you're going to get that reaping back 10 times what you sowed. Okay? So he called George Floyd, brothers like that, a scumbag, people who were basically executed for all to see. And then he ended up being executed for all to see. Because understand, there are unedited versions of the video of his killing. And it's not pretty, family. It's not pretty. From my understanding, his wife was in the crowd. From my understanding, his 2 children were in the crowd. All right. So they saw their husband, their father executed right in front of them. And this is a constant reminder. You reap what you sow. Whatever you put out into the universe, you're going to get back tenfold, family. Understand that. Our ancestors understand that. Malcolm X, that's why when he talked about, and one of the things that got him suspended from the Nation of Islam was when the assassination of JFK happened. And he called it the chickens coming home to roost. Okay? Basically saying that the chickens that you sent out there, that America sent out there, America's been assassinating people's leaders, CIA, the killing of Patrice Lumumba, X, Y, and Z. Those same assassins came back and knocked you off now. All right? Those same assassins came back and knocked you off. So that was nothing more than the chicken coming home to roost. And Malcolm said, being an old farm boy myself, chicken coming home to roost never made me sad. They always made me glad. You dig? So that's number 1. You reap what you sow. Number 2, freedom of speech does not equal freedom from consequences. Freedom from speech does not equal freedom from consequences. See, one of the things that me and Charlie, probably the only thing we have in common, is our age. Charlie Kirk was 31. I'm 30 years of age. We are kind of the first generation, my generation, that age group. We were kind of the first people to grow up on social media. Okay? I remember when social media dropped things like MySpace, things like Facebook back in the day. We were kind of in middle school. So we were old enough to understand it. but still youthful enough to kind of grow up on it where it shaped our childhood. And in that time period, in my era, we were kind of the first era of you have these real deal people who say any and everything on the internet. My generation really has no filters. You dig? Let's be honest. They have no filters. We talk about the dead. We talk about people, mama. No filters whatsoever. You dig? But sometimes people forget that just because you have freedom of speech don't mean that when you step off that internet, those consequences don't apply to you. You dig? Those consequences still apply in real life, family. Because there's a lot of people running around here talking about, oh, y'all did all this to Charlie Kirk because he practiced his First Amendment right. That's cool. Okay, but understand that them rights come with lefts too. Those rights come with lefts too, meaning when you step off that internet, when you step in close proximity with people you've offended, they can choose to address your disrespect how they feel like they can address it. So you might get hemmed up. You might get knocked off. You might have to walk around with a security team. They might feel like they have to take their life for the disrespect that you showed them. So understand what comes with it. You can do whatever you want, but understand the game and the consequences that come with your actions. Okay? This same thing applies to white people. All right? Just like Kanye. Kanye never hurt nobody, man. Kanye never hemmed up or unalived a European Jew. But when he said something about the Jewish community, they started attacking his pockets. I guarantee you his security details stepped up. All right? Because words do matter. Words create a narrative. All right? Words get people killed. A go, no go can get somebody knocked off. So words matter. The third thing we can learn from Charlie Kirk getting murked is that obsession with the lies eventually blinds you to reality. Let me say that again. Obsession with lies eventually blinds you to reality. What do you mean by that, Brother Chase? One of Charlie Kirk's favorite talking points. His supporters will tell you this. Anybody who's ever heard Charlie Kirk, 30 seconds of him, his favorite talking point was black on black crime. Black on black crime. Black on black crime is a major issue. We have to solve black on black crime. Most black people get killed by other black people. Black people are responsible for all these murders. Black. Okay? He was very obsessed with creating a narrative, creating a lie that black people were this monstrous group of people who just run around here killing and even hunting white people. These are words that he said. Okay? When the reality that he was blinded to, and a reality that could have saved Charlie's life, is that most people who look like Charlie were not killed by black people. They were killed by other white people. Because statistics show that most white people, roughly 80% of white people, are killed by other white people. But Charlie was so obsessed with the lie of pushing black people are the evil ones. Black people are the ones who go out here and commit all these murders. Black people are the dangerous ones. That he forgot to actually look at reality. He forgot to actually look at the facts. He didn't take his security serious when he was around white people, despite the fact that he's more likely to be killed by another white person than he is a black person. Let me play an interesting clip. This is from somebody who was actually out there, who was watching Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. This is a student that was out here. And I found this video very interesting because she's a Charlie Kirk supporter. And she's talking about the security that was out there. So listen to what she says.
Were there before people got on campus? What kind of checks were there before people got on campus?
If I'm going to be honest, I had friends coming in asking if they needed tickets, and I said they didn't even check for my ticket, which I did get a ticket. They did not pat us down. I feel like I maybe saw 3 or 4 police officers in this whole environment of hundreds of people, I would guess, which I thought was a little odd, but at the same time I thought, well, you know, it's Utah, which is probably an ignorant thought to think, but there was...
It's Utah. It's white folks out here. That's Charlie Kirk's mentality and Charlie Kirk's supporters' mentality. It's white people out here. White, we don't commit crime. Charlie, pull up this. It's the Negroes we need to be looking out for. Oh, it's those gangbangers in Chicago. It's Little Dirk. It's King Von. Oh, they're going to come and get us. You dig? Us good white people in the white state of Utah, nothing's going to happen out here. We're the same ones. We're superior.
Not much security precautions taken. There was none.
No security. No security. Why was there no security? Because Charlie Kirk and others have been obsessed with lies. See, for Charlie Kirk and his followers and supporters, that obsession with lies, that black people are the real dangerous ones, black people are the ones you have to look out for. If there's no black people, then that automatically means it's safe. Possibly cost him his life. There are even video clips going around now where you have people who are literally filming the sniper 30 minutes before he actually shoots and kills Charlie Kirk. They're literally on the roof saying, hey, man, it's a dude up there. It's a dude up there. Now, y'all know if that was a black man, oh, God. If a black man is even if a black man sneezes in the crowd, they're calling the damn security unit over there to pat him down. They're looking at you funny. White dude climbing on a roof in all black, setting up shop, and they like, oh, man, it's a guy up there. What is he doing up there? Oh, okay. Let me mind my business. I'll give you another example, family. Same thing happened in Trump's near assassination. You had people filming white dude on the damn roof. I think that was like a couple 100 yards away with a rifle. You have the damn Secret Service team saying, man, hey, it's a dude on the roof. Looks like with a gun. Everybody just standing around looking. This man gets off 2, 3, 4 shots before finally somebody takes him out. Because the narrative that is created, the obsession with the lies blinds people to the truth. It can't, a white man is not dangerous. Even if he has a gun, even if he's in sniper position with a gun aiming at the president, he's not a threat. The Negroes are the threat. That's the threat. If a black man was 1,000 yards away with a damn lawnmower in his hand with headphones in, cutting the grass, center unit, 1097. Oh, damn. If a black man's at the rally all the way in the back just walking, 1017, we got a nigger out here with the new Sean John on. I'm bringing him in for questioning. Oh, everything has to stop because of the mentality. So understand number 3, obsession with lies blinds you to the truth and can eventually, like Charlie Kirk, cost you your life. And last but not least, number 4, family. This is for the collaborators. This is for the Sambo. This is for the coon class out there. I want you to understand this. Let this Charlie Kirk situation be an example. Proximity to whiteness does not buy safety. It actually increases exposure. Proximity to whiteness does not buy safety. It oftentimes increases your exposure. And exposure to what? Danger. Danger, family. A lot of Sambos, a lot of collaborators there, they think by getting underneath white mommy and white daddy and getting white support and white people co-signing and backing them makes them safe to do and say whatever they want. We see this all the time with the Kanyes of the world. You know, he gets out here, he starts hanging out with all these suspected white supremacists and he starts saying X, Y, and Z. And then, you know, when the heat comes down, these motherfuckers is nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found while he's losing millions. You see, they get out here and they gas up all these Sambos and collaborators. They use you as shields and bring you into these white circles and feed you all these talking points that you go out and regurgitate. And then you have to take all the bullets for it. And then they're nowhere to be found. If they will kill their white brethren, what do you think they'll do to you? And that's why they have you. That's why they bring you in. See, you're a tool. You're a tool. These people have hatred and disdain for black people like yourself. But they bring you in. They understand you can be a useful tool because you can be a black face that they can indoctrinate to push their white supremacist ideology. Okay? That's what you are. You're not in a safe space. You're in the most dangerous spot possible. Because what you've done is you truly have alienated yourself of both sides. You've alienated yourself of both sides. You put yourself in a position where white people strictly see you as a tool. And we all know once tools stop working, they get broken and they get thrown away. You've alienated yourself from the safest spot you can be in, which is the black community, who are the only group who have stood up in the belly of systematic white supremacy and fought it toe to toe. So you've alienated yourself from that. Therefore, when they break you as a tool, you have no place to go. And they use you as an attack dog. They use you as a front man. So when you say something outlandish, when you want to push their outlandish talking points, you have to take all the bullets by yourself. The most dangerous spot you can be in is underneath white folks, especially pushing anti-black talking points, anti-whatever talking points, because they be having y'all pushing everything. Y'all be talking down on other people, people's religious beliefs, X, Y, and Z. They just use you as a crash dummy. You don't even believe half of the stuff. You're just going off the talking point. They've been canceling because a lot of them try to do the same. They kind of try to model after the Charlie Kirks. They try to do these little live debates. So a lot of them have been canceling their debates now. They don't really want to be seen out in person. You dig? A lot of black people are looking at them funny, so they can't go back into the black community. So now they're just kind of trying to stay low key. They're just going to try to do the internet trolling thing. You dig? So what this showed them, and what I want people to understand is you being in proximity to whiteness doesn't mean you're going to be safe. Hell, they can't protect their own people, let alone you. You're expendable to them. You're expendable. But it's your brother Chase. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, click that link in the bio, get 30 Black Wall Streets, the mainstream media never told you about. And until next time, peace and black power. I'm out.